Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Thousands of Vermonters serve as a caregiver to a family member. Exact numbers of family caregivers are not really known, but surveys show that Alzheimer's disease and some other form of dementia is the main health condition that requires caregiving. Changes, curveballs, and crises are all a part of caregiving. But what happens when something happens to the family caregiver? Experts at the University of Vermont Center on Aging say home caregivers need a plan B. So today I'm speaking with Jeannie Hutchins. She is the executive director at the UVM Center. Jeannie, good afternoon, and thank you so much for being with us.
Hi, Fran. It's great to be back. Thank you.
So when it comes to caregiving, what is Plan B?
So Plan B is a kind of what if. We often hear from caregivers that what keeps them awake at night is they think about, what if something happens to me? Who's going to care for the person I'm caring for? How are we going to do that? So creating a Plan B helps people get rid of that stress and have a plan in place.
Right. And so what's the best place to start?
So I'd like to offer some tips and examples. And the best place to start is designating the people who are going to be part of your Plan B, somebody that you can have on call. Could be friends, it could be neighbors, could be family members, but just figuring out who you're going to call if something happens, and make sure everybody knows what your Plan B is, so everybody's on the same page. And really make sure that whoever is your designated people, that they have access to the house, that they either have a key to the house, know where to find a key, have the code, and also that they have the phone numbers of family members and of you.
Right, of course, and then write down the plan. How, what is that plan and how to share it?
Right. So you need to write down information. Now, this information, your medical information, everybody should have written down whether they're creating a Plan B or not. Medical information for both you, the caregiver, and the care recipient. So who are your providers? What are their phone numbers? List of drugs. And where they're kept. You just think about if somebody has to walk into your house and start caring for the person, what are the things you're going to need to know? And the big thing too is, how are the drugs administered? Does the person you're caring for, do they have to have their drugs in an applesauce? Do they always take them with a cup of tea or a glass of milk? So just the little things that will help the person that you're calling upon to be able to take care of your loved one in a respectful manner.
Sure.
Write this stuff down too, especially people who have a dementia. Write down, what are their sleep habits? Do they sleep during the day? Do they take naps? Are they up all night? What do they like to eat? Do they need help in eating? Do they need assistance with toileting? Are they incontinent? Do they wander? People need to, be cognizant if somebody's a wanderer, to make sure that they're the doors are closed and that they keep an eye on them. What do they like to do? And then one of the big things is, do they recognize family and friends? So say they don't recognize family and friends, and you call upon even a family member to come over in case of an incident, and the person you're caring for doesn't recognize them. It can be very scary for someone. So we suggest that whoever you designate, that maybe you have pictures of them with their name, and you show that to your loved one every once in a while, maybe have it on your refrigerator or something, so they get to recognize these people. Or the person, when they come into the house, can point to their picture and say, see, this is who I am, and I'm here to take care of you.
That's such a good idea. And also listing all those little details are so helpful for not only the caregiver, sleeping at night, but also the person that's designated to really know what's to expect as much as possible, and hopefully even meeting that person, stopping by now and again, or I would think just saying, I'm here, I'm the backup, I might be here, and having those photographs is brilliant. I love that. So what are some examples of when Plan B needs to be put in place?
Okay, so remember, these are examples. So everyone has to create plans that are meaningful to their situation. So we're just going to run through some examples. So you're delayed for some reason. Say you're out running errands, you know that it's okay to leave your family member alone for a couple hours, and say you get a flat tire and you have to call the tow truck or whatever, and it's going to be a couple hours. So not only is the person you're caring for might become anxious because you're not coming home, but you might be anxious too that they shouldn't be alone that long. So who can you call to go over and just check on them, stay with them a couple hours, maybe feed them a snack or something. So that's just if you're delayed for a short period of time. Another thing that comes up is, say you're volunteering for the afternoon somewhere and you call to check in to make sure everything's going okay and no one answers. And you call a couple times and there's no answer. Very stressful. Maybe you can't leave right away. Maybe you're a long ways from home. Who can you call to go over and check on the person you're caring for? Just check in, contact you to relieve that stress, make sure they're okay. And if you can't find anyone to do that, you may end up having to call first responder for a wellness check. But again, that's where it's important to make sure that the person can get into the house.
Terrific. Well, those are great examples, and also there are real emergency situations. Maybe the caregiver lands in the hospital.
Yeah. So say you're home and you take a fall or you have an acute incident. Do you have a medical alert device? Does the person you're caring for have one? Can the person you're caring for call 911 for you if you're not able to? Or can they at least hand you the phone? Another thing is a daily check-in. So having somebody call a couple times a day just to check to see how things are going. Maybe it's, a family member. The other thing that I know has been done for a long, long time, and we've done it here where I live with neighbors, is if there's a light on, okay, every morning you get up and you turn the light on in your window. That way people know that you're okay. Or you pull the shade up and down. Just as long as you remember to do it, so people don't get nervous.
Get worried. That's a great idea. I love that, because often caregivers are also maybe an elder and vulnerable. So what happens in the case of, let's say you were in an accident and the caregiver is hospitalized? What then?
Yeah. So worst case, you're in an accident, you're taken to the hospital. If you are able to, the first thing you should do is you should advise the medical staff that you are a caregiver and you need to contact someone to go and take care of your family member. There are actually medical alert bracelets that, some people wear, diabetics wear and stuff. There are actually bracelets you can buy that have that information on it. You could write a piece of paper and a card, put it in your wallet. But in some medical records, electronic medical records actually have flags saying this person is a caregiver. But just thinking about if something were to happen to me and I'm taken to the hospital, who's going to take care of the person I'm caring for? Maybe it's just somebody that needs to go over and stay with them until they find out what's going to happen. So yeah, it's something you really need to think about. Worst case.
Right, and figure out how long you might be in there, and if it's multiple days, what are you going to do? Just moving along, I want to make sure we get to some other things. So what other things do you recommend for family caregivers that they should be planning for? What are some absolutely, these should be in place?
So say you're hospitalized for 5 or 6 days and you end up going into long-term care for rehab. So that's a whole other planning. You need to have somebody in place 24/7. And is that going to be a family member? Is that going to be a friend? There are professional agencies, around that you can call ahead of time and have a conversation that, okay, if something happens to me, we're going to call you and you're going to help take care of my loved one, maybe until a family member gets there from out of town. You can have that all set up ahead of time. They know the information, they have everything they need to step in and do that. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do to plan ahead. Maybe you need to check out some long-term care facilities and set up something with them for respite. So, okay, if something happens, then maybe, they need to go into a place.
Sure, and even legal matters, just quickly, you should have an advance directive and know where those are.
Everybody should have this stuff. Hiring a legal person, elder lawyers, what they're called, that know how to do all these things, know how to get the stuff in place is very important. There are several around in the area, so we highly recommend that you do that.
Great. Before, because we're starting to get near the end, and I just want to make sure everybody knows how to get in touch with you and your folks, because this is so helpful. So some resources to highlight about how to contact people that can help with this.
Okay, so the number one thing is your area agencies on aging. And if you don't know who they are, they're if you call 211, easy enough, they can connect you with your area agency on aging. You can also, if you're using a computer, you can go to the Vermont 4A organization, which has all the agencies listed. Here's my contact information at the center. I'd be happy to send you information. And also when it comes to the end of life and making the end of life plans, Vermont Ethics Network. So it's vermontethicsnetwork.org. Or again, you can call 211 and they can give you the information. But they have great tools for planning end of life care that I highly recommend, advanced care planning, that you take a look at.
Great. Yeah, that's a very hard conversation to have, but it is important to have these conversations so everybody kind of feels comfortable and knows what people want. That end of life care conversation is important.
Yes, you ask any emergency room employee and they will tell you that you can have all the forms in the world filled out, but what's important when it comes to an acute incident like that, the most important thing is that I had a conversation with mom. I know this is what she wants. This is what we need to do.
Wonderful. And Jeannie, thank you so much for really thinking about the caregiver. This is so important that the caregiver also has their backup and plan B. Jeannie Hutchins, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.